Now we're talking about like every time you press Q, you die instantly. We're talking about wall climb failing and then dying. We're talking about accidentally slipping off the map. Or we talk about wasting deflect and then dying to Widow headshot. Like, are we getting the full cornucopia of disaster? Like, what's the deal?
um, I don't know. I would probably say, I think for a Genji player, I probably have really, really weak mechanics. So I just
Oh,
miss
my
a lot.
favorite.
Miss a
Excellent.
lot.
Excellent.
I
Welcome to the
don't
club.
think. I don't think that my game sense is necessarily the worst, but
Got it.
like I feel like I fail in a lot of execution because my mechanics are terrible. But then also sometimes I do stupid stuff too. So
Makes sense. Makes sense. Okay, lovely, lovely, lovely. Let's get this pulled up here. So I'm going to pull your form up. What I'll do is I'll have this uploaded and sent to you in 2 days, the recording. So if you want to go back and watch it, you'll be free to do that. And then also, if you have any questions, you can just message me anytime. Sound good?
yeah, sounds good.
Okay, so what got you interested in coaching? Let's start with that.
Well, originally, okay, I guess it's for me. It's like I sort of self-coached myself for a while.
Yeah.
Like I just kind of like tried to like watch my own videos and like and get myself to where I am.
Good.
But I feel like I've just plateaued and I've kind of been there since like the end of Overwatch 1. Like I did well in Overwatch 1. I was a tank main, and then I wanted to do the other roles. I never ended up making it to Grandmaster in Overwatch 1, however, I was close on DPS, but I just kind of plateaued, so now I feel like I want to have another challenge to, get higher than I've been, or yeah.
Okay, makes sense. Now it seems like you've had top 500 on support and tank. Am I correct?
Yeah, I've been top 500 on every role, but
Okay.
also we're talking about consoles, so I don't know how much that actually counts.
Well, you're fighting uphill versus Zimmers, so it matters like twice as much.
I guess
But
so.
I guess for you particularly, it's why are we looking at DPS today? Then okay, so then why particularly DPS? If is that the one that's the furthest behind top 500? Is that the one that matters the most to you? Is it just like the new kid in the block or what?
I think one, it's my favorite role. However, it's my weakest. Like I think tank and support I think are significantly better than my DPS.
Okay. Makes sense. Now, why do you think that is?
Well, on tank I play Ryan, and on support I mainly play Mercy, and so the mechanics aren't as big of a factor.
Yep.
And so I feel like I rely just on like doing things, and I don't have to like I don't have to be so precise with those characters. I can be more like, as long as I know what I'm doing and I'm making the right decision, I feel like I'm just getting good value.
Okay. Makes sense. I mean, it's definitely a big ask to go from a Reinhardt Mercy, which have what I would describe niche mechanics, and then to go to Genji.
Yeah,
that's almost as bad as going to Widowmaker. It's a big ask, right? So I think there's definitely mechanics being an issue is going to be. And the worst part about it is characters like Genji kind of fall into the Trace or Wrecking Ball category, where it's like they also have niche mechanics too. It's not just like, oh, you need to work on your aim. You have wall climb, you have your double jump, you have your dual mechanics, you have so many things, like even your deflect and your dash, and then your Dragon Blade. So it's like you have all of the niche mechanics that a Reinhardt and Mercy have to worry about, plus a whole new set of just basically hitting your shots, right? So
yeah.
it's tough. It's tough. Now, why Genji? I mean, it's kind of probably a stupid question.
Well, when I first started playing the game, I was a Tracer main, and I just kind of was like, I don't really care for Tracer as much. And then I found Genji, and I'm not even gonna lie to you, I didn't even know at first that Genji could double jump or wall climb, and I already thought that he was gonna be my favorite character. And then my friend told me that I could double jump and wall climb, and I was like, absolutely, yes. So I started playing Genji.
Well, that's great. That's great. I swear, I meet more people that got into the game or got serious about the game because of Genji than any other character. So myself included. Every day, Overwatch, at least a couple hours per day. Okay, so how is that time spent? Is that just ranked and then just grinding whatever role you're focusing on?
Yeah, so I solo queue most of the time. I'm just mostly grinding ranked, and then if I have some people that want to do or whatever, I'll deal with people for fun. But or I'll play on an alt account because most of my friends are not able to play with me.
Yeah. Okay, makes sense. And then is that just essentially the role thing? Is it mostly on the role that you're practicing, or do you mix it up a little bit?
It kind of depends. It's like if I feel like my tank is in a good spot, like rank wise, like if I'm like usually I try to sit like in top 200 for tank, and then if it's there, I'm like, okay, well, I can just focus on DPS, and then if my
Sure.
DPS is good, then I'll focus on support, etc., etc.
Okay, makes sense. Do you have a warm up routine, or do you just generally just jump in?
I mean, my queue times are so long, so usually I'll just go into deathmatch and just deathmatch till I queue.
Sure. Okay, makes sense. Makes sense. Do you take breaks at all between your queues?
It depends. That I think that's actually one of my problems is I just have like some days I just keep grinding even though I'm losing, and I just drop into the dumps, which kind of happened recently.
Right.
And then I'll try to like get back, and then I can, but it's like I feel like I have very high highs and very low lows. Like I'm down in GM5 right now for tank, and I was just top 200 like a couple days ago. And
Right. Now, why is that? You talked about like the problem, but why do you get stuck into these like grind loops, for lack of a better term?
I think it's I mean, I really do think it's actually just like mental health. I think like when I get depressed, I just like start playing more, and then I start to feel like demoralized, and I just keep playing to like prove to myself that I'm not that bad. And then it's like a cycle, and then I just keep losing and losing and losing, and then I start to want to blame teammates and this and that, and obviously it's not like my teammates' fault that I'm dropping like 10 ranks, but you know.
So what's the solution? I mean, asking that question is kind of silly because may not be like a solution, but like, what has been? Have you tried or have any plans to try anything to alleviate or remedy or improve that habit?
Yeah, I noticed that it was a big problem when like a couple years ago when I had started playing the game.
Hmm.
Um, and I wanted to get serious in it. And once I kind of hit my first plateau, which was around diamond, like diamond, when I first started playing, I was like silver. I got to diamond pretty fast, and I plateaued there for a while. And then I was like, okay, well, this mental health thing is not going to be um, good. So I started just cleaning up my diet. I started exercising um, a lot more. So I exercise regularly, and my diet is infinitely better than it used to be. And I do feel a lot better,
Good.
but I still have some like waves of depression. I think it's just like I don't know. I've been actively working on it, but it's hard to eliminate completely.
It really is. I think it's like it's like you're developing an environment with which you're able to manage it better, but it's still you have to practice. You have to like practice. You have to build the habit itself. You kind of see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um, all right. So you said your external approach. You've developed some things. So I'm going to ask you, what's your internal? What is the Overwatch specific habits that you have been grinding at to improve that? And if you don't have any, I might have some suggestions.
Um, I guess the thing is the main thing I've been thinking about as of recent, like the last week, is trying to be more synergetic and aware of what my teammates are doing, and not just expecting them to like make what I would consider to be the right decision.
Okay.
Because I feel like that's one of my big problems too, is I feel like I get off sync with my team quite a bit. Um, I think that would like as of like the past couple of days, I think that's like what I've been really like focusing on.
Okay. Okay. What about the grinding for hours on hours and hours and hours?
Um, I mean, lately I haven't had like a ton of time because I've been working so much. Like work's been pretty crazy. I've been staying
Sure.
late most days and then going to the gym after work.
Sure.
I usually only play for like 2 hours before I go to bed at night, and then I just wake up the next day, rinse and repeat. And then
Sure.
really weekends is like my main grinding time.
Sure. Okay. Okay. Um, I guess kind of going back to the point I was talking about earlier with the breaks, I do think that's probably one of the useful like Overwatch related life habits that you could develop for that kind of a thing. You talk about longer queues, right?
Hmm.
Use that queue time. Use that queue time. Get away from your console, walk around, move around, grab some water, get something done in the house. I realized this when I was grinding ranked myself, not too long ago when I was trying to like learn the Sombra reorg a little bit better. And it was unbelievable to me like how much better I focused I could stay when I was actually getting up from the computer. Even it was like for me, like my queues are faster. It was only like 2 minutes, but just those 2 minutes, like just getting up really helped me to stay focused in game and helped me to like not even like manage tilt, but like in many ways like prevent it or prolong it from becoming a problem, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes
Um,
sense.
So I would experiment with that, and I would definitely experiment with other things. Obviously, like right now, maybe it's not as big of an issue, but I would keep trying. Like you talked about, like you've been very attentive to coaching yourself, right? And I think that's really, really valuable. Treat this like another skill that you need to develop, right? If this is a problem that crops up again, right? Trying different ways of approaching the game, when I'm getting better at knowing when to stop. One other thing I'll point out is your sleep is okay, but it's not great. It could be a little bit better. That might be something that might be able to contribute to that as well. I'm sure you're very busy right now, but just something to consider. I think that like you could probably see where I'm going with this, because I do think that when it comes to improving at Overwatch, such a large percentage of your improvement is your mental state, right? Your ability to actually learn and improve, and then also not to throw away what you already know. So I think just treating that like maybe the most important skill, I think is, you know this, but just practice that, don't just practice, but try new things too, I guess would be my suggestion.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Okay. Goals, long-term, I just want to be the best player I could be. Short-term is the same goal. Fair enough. Okay. What do you feel is holding you back from improving? Mechanics and approach. Now, mechanics is just going to take practice, right? Ranked games, we'll talk about accelerating that through practicing specific mechanical things. But ultimately, there's just no way that you can really accelerate mechanics. But approach is an odd answer. What do you mean to approach?
What I mean, I guess, is approach in general, as like specifically with Genji. Like I recognize it in the match, but I feel like it takes me a long time to recognize like I'm approaching this fight really dumb. Like I could just be going a different path, or I could be like using double jump here instead of wall climb to maintain my pressure like outputs on like shooting, you know what I'm saying? Or like or you like or like I said earlier, like synergizing with my team, like timing my timing my pressure properly, or like I guess my burst pressure when I'm like really close.
Sure. So just how you're approaching playing the character specifically.
Yeah, and like fights in general, just everything. Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. Okay, I'm just looking through your form here. There's nothing really else that stands out to me. Do you have any other questions?
No. I guess I would say like, what is your thoughts, I guess, on like one tricking, like very short, because like I've pretty much one trick on every role. Like I don't really swap off of my characters.
It's fine. Only becomes a problem in like top 50. And if your character is like hard not meta, and even then there's like room for growth, right? Like if you were trying to one trick Orisa 2 weeks ago, you probably would fail because Malga, literally unplayable into Orisa. Orisa literally cannot play the game right now. Different story, obviously, but there are very few exceptions to that rule. So almost always totally fine. And Genji's fine. Genji's fine.
Okay.
He's flexible enough. Now, if you were to say Bastion, that would be a little harder right now, or like Reaper, maybe a little bit harder right now. But even those guys are probably one trickable to top 100, I would say. So, very, very, very fine. Totally fine. Shouldn't be an issue, especially with a character like Genji, which there are lots of things that make Genji feel annoyed, but there are very few things that can make Genji not get value. Let's put it that way.
I agree, and I know what you're saying.
Okay. Do you have a code for me?
I do. I have two. They are both pretty close matches. One of them I won, and one of them I lost. Okay.
Shoot me either one. It doesn't really matter. Let's prioritize the one where you felt like you had more questions, whether you won or lost.
Okay. The one. Yeah, I'll put this one. Okay, it should be in the chat there.
Got it. Okay, let's skip forward here. So I'm not going to even ask you, what is Genji good at? You're top 500. You should know what Genji's good at. Let's just see the discrepancies between what you should know and what you're actually doing. Little poke here. Hog, Kirikou, Zen, Cassidy, Soldier. Actually, a pretty good comp to play Genji into. Some annoying things for certain, but lots of squishies to harass. And this is what I like to call the Genji cycle, which you just kind of did right there, where you see an opportunity from an off angle, you dash in, you go for the combo, you choke it because your mechanics. You throw some shurikens. When things get hot, whether hook, mag grenade, whatever. You deflect out to cover and then retake the angle and then play passively until the next cycle goes. Let's talk about the things that go wrong here, all right? Things to be aware of. First thing, timing here is probably not the best just based off of where you're choosing to engage and where the rest of your backline is. This is a situation where you're more than willing to let them take more space before you commit, because where is your team actually fighting here?
Right, yeah, they're fighting on the gas station.
Right. So then you'd go for a play like this here, not great. You go for a play 5 seconds from now, totally fine. Just because there's more follow-up from the rest of your backline. Make sense?
Yeah.
That's the first problem. Second problem here is actually more mechanical. Let me double check to make sure that you actually did it. Yeah, so this is it right here. So when you go for this thing, this is pretty complicated mechanics with Genji. There is an internal timer between when you could throw shurikens that's not accelerated by dash. So when you throw your right click here and then cancel it with dash, when you pivot for this right click here, you cannot right click immediately. So that melee there should have been accompanied by shurikens, but because you right click into the dash instead of dash first, you're choking. Now, sometimes that's okay. Sometimes you're like, you know what? I'm just gonna right click, dash, pause, right click melee. That's okay. But only when you're okay with that pause, right? If you're not okay with that pause, then don't throw shurikens first. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
The other thing here to note as well in terms of mechanics, and this is probably even more important on console, is that when you go for these combos, you actually want to be dashing in front of them, which I think you tried to. You just didn't quite have your crosshair placed perfectly. You see where the little tiny green crosshair is there? You needed to drop that a centimeter lower so that you didn't have to do a 180. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You want to only have to move your controller up. You don't really want to move your controller around. Now, I don't know what your sensitivity is like. I don't know how easy that motion is, but I can't imagine that's easy in console.
I run max sense, so but it's still not like high enough. Like I wish that they would increase the max sensitivity in console. But...
Sure. So just something to consider. If you're going to go for the one-shot combo, try to do it at their feet and not behind their feet, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Dashing through them and then turning around and throwing shurikens is really valuable because it makes them turn their crosshair. But if you're just going for a clean one-shot combo, you're not even concerned about that. All that being said, the timing of the engage, the slight detailed mechanics of the engage, cooldown usage, and then the cover usage and the positioning afterwards, really, really good. Perfect, actually.
Okay.
But now we just need healing. Mercy, hello?
Yeah.
She just screwed up her GA. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know. I find myself in situations like this a lot. Sometimes I swear I feel invisible. I swear I feel invisible. But I'm not gonna go down the rabbit hole. That's useless.
Yeah, but it's kind of funny because it's like your Mercy makes a mistake, but it kind of all boils down to like this would be the time with which you'd go for the cycle, right? You see this?
Yeah.
But what's the problem?
I already burned all my cooldowns and took a bunch of damage. Now I can't do it.
Right. You don't have your deflect yet, so you can't actually go for the cycle yet. So it's like you shouldn't have died here. That's your support's fault. But you shouldn't have been under pressure in the first place. That's your fault. Yeah. Right. Exactly. Okay.
That makes so much sense. Yeah. And I felt like this game was super winnable. I definitely could have carried this match. Or like, not carry it, but like done enough.
Yeah. To clean up your mistakes enough to win more fights, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. You have your CDs. It's a good angle. Good.
Yeah.
Let me look at the combo here. I mean, that's where you actually didn't throw shurikens into your dash, and so you're actually able to right-click immediately afterwards, right? You see that?
Wait, did I not? I thought I did.
You didn't, no. So you threw your left click there. Wait, maybe you did. Yo, you did. You did. Yeah, you're right. But your 180 is so slow. You know, I don't know. See, this is something that you're going to have to kind of tweak with, you know, because I can't treat you like a PC player. Because a PC player, I'd say, you know, this is a mistake because you should be able to 180 immediately throw it. But with console, maybe those 180s, even at max sense, are too slow. So there's really no downside to throwing shurikens animation cancel. It's just free damage. You see what I'm saying?
I could try to lower my aim assist window size so that it like doesn't slow me down as fast, and that could potentially increase my sensitivity indirectly.
Okay.
I don't know.
I would tweak it because this here doesn't actually look that bad because of how long it takes you to 180. Because by the time you actually get your crosshair around, you could throw your shurikens again. It's just like one of those PC specific things that you have to consider. Now, I will say, if you wanted to be really nitpicky with it, this is another situation where you're dashing too high. You see this? You're dashing at Cassidy's shoulder level and Zenyatta's feet level. Whereas if you wanted to one-shot Cassidy, you dash here. If you want to one-shot Zenyatta, you dash here, right? Then you don't have to worry about the 180. Remember, we talked about that just a second ago, right? So for you...
Yeah, that makes sense.
So you need to decide here pretty darn quick. There's a lot of ways to approach this. You turn down your aim assist so that you can 180 faster, so that you don't throw shurikens, so that you throw shurikens on the 180. Or you leave your sensitivity as it is and just do more feet dashes to where you don't have to do the 180. Then, or third option is you don't change anything at all. You throw your shurikens, you cancel it, you do your glacial turnaround, but you get the right click in time, right? And you just make them turn around.
Okay.
You know, and I really think all of these are decent. I think it's going to be which one do you want to roll with, you know? They all have upsides and downsides.
Really, like, I think McCree has been just like instilling the fear of a god into me with that.
Yeah.
With that, or not like this specific one, but
yeah, just
McCree's in general. Just like that sticky grenade is so dumb, and I feel like the thing is, like, if I feel like if I dash in front of them, then I have to burn deflect immediately. But then if they don't use sticky, then I'm just like screwed.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, no, 100%. You don't have as much time to react, and you don't make them 180 because as slow as you are on the 180, you're still faster than these guys are. You see where they're looking? They're looking here. They're 90. They still have another 90 degrees to turn, so it's still an advantage, right? So you're 100% right. I look at the Genji one-shot combo as more of a situational thing where you could dash right-click. And you'll do it a lot. Okay, like let me give you an example. Let's say this Baptiste is an enemy BAP, right? And he's on the edge here. And you dash at him. You're going to do the one-shot combo. Because what happens if you fail?
Then
you drop. You just drop to cover. Here, you deflect. Where do you go? Maybe you wall climb up and over, but you probably die there too, right? So it's definitely more of a niche strategy to use when and where you can do it safely. So I think you take that information and use it as you will.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
I know we're talking a lot about the micro here, but I think it's worth discussing, especially with console, you know. But main thing here is you just missed your right click. You know, you didn't quite hit the right click, and then you missed that right click crucially. Because these guys both should be dead.
Yeah, they should be.
The play itself was fine. You had your cooldowns, you came at a good time, you came from a good angle. You just needed to hit the shots.
Yeah, I feel like I feel that constantly.
You know, one little detail here. One thing you might do is slow this process down just by like half a second, maybe even less. So like right here, don't throw. I say right click, but you know what I'm saying. Your secondary fire as fast as you can, because you didn't even have time to get your crosshair around. Give it 0.2 seconds longer so that you can actually get your crosshair lined up. Well, so what I'm saying is
aim shot.
Right, slow down your combo. What is Genji doing right now? Okay. Slow down your combo by like 0.1 seconds. You know, and eventually you want to push the speed up. But right now you're like, it feels like you're kind of faking it and you're not making it. Right. Slow it down just a tiny bit so that you get the combo here. There's not a huge rush because we already said that, like, you could already see that these guys, they aren't looking at you until now, right? So you have plenty of time if you're dashing through them, right? So use that time to align your crosshair.
Because I do have to remember too, they are like limited the same way that I am.
Exactly. You have the same limitations, or they have the same limitations. And the difference is actually, you know that limitation is coming. They don't, right? They don't know if you're dashing or not. So if they have to react, you know what's coming. Good. I don't know if you guys will get touch here.
I tried to touch, but
no way you touch there with your Malgun spawn, frankly.
Yeah, no, it was a bad call.
Mm-hmm. Especially with no deflect. But yeah, okay.
I should have taken a look back to see where he was.
Yeah, 100%. Good. I appreciate the respect and the hit scan as well, you know, like using that deflect when you're at 115. It's like, if he hits that shot there, you're kind of screwed. Good positioning. Now, yeah, so you're looking for Blade, I assume, here.
I think I'm trying to, yeah, I've been trying to get this, yeah, I was trying to get that trans out.
Yeah. Good. Wait, what happened? Oh, wait, he died? Oh, he died. Okay, so I'm so stupid. I was like, somehow.
Yeah.
Good. Positioning so far has been actually pretty good, I think. Now, I don't want to say that too soon, but you know, the angles that you're playing have been pretty good, and your cycle with your deflect has also been pretty good. It's been mostly mechanics here. A little blind.
Sort of, but I hear them. Like, I know they're there.
That's true. Okay, so this is going to be my real nitpick with this Blade, all right?
Yeah,
two things. It's just a timing question again. Like, I just think you need a little bit more help here. But the major problem here is you could probably still get away with it if you weren't so far. When you dash up, you must be over their heads.
Okay.
You see this gap between red and blue? Like, if you're to draw a vertical line, like soldiers straight up in the air, this cannot be. It has to be this. It has to be this. Because the thing is that these guys are going to run. If you have to dash here to come close the distance, they will sprint or slide and you will not get a kill. In addition to that, it is significantly easier to shoot you at this angle here than it is to shoot you at this angle here.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So what I want you to do is, first off, wait a little bit longer because you need more poke from your Malga and your BAP and your Sojourn. And then dash here to here, because this Blade has a significantly higher chance of working than what you're doing right now.
That makes sense, yeah.
This might still work. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think my thinking here is that the tank is like so far away, and I'm thinking even if I don't get a kill, like he's just gonna be separated from his team so bad, and they're gonna.
But how can you guys push him?
That's true. I'm not aware that my team is like that. My hog is like actually under that much pressure.
If he's not engaged right now, the hog is not engaged. You guys can't really punish him for trading backlines or distracting backline, like you said, right?
Okay. Yeah. I guess that's like my assumption that my team is going to do the right, like what I would consider the right thing is that they're just going to hard rush him, but obviously they can't know what's in my head.
And the thing is even if that is the play, how on earth is your team supposed to hard rush the hog here?
That is a good question. I don't know.
You know what I'm saying? Very difficult too. I mean, they would have to very quickly and decisively, and oftentimes, more often than not, they'll try to help you instead, which is fine, but yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Soldier screws up pretty badly here. He actually runs into your Blade, but yeah. I mean, it wasn't a bad Blade, but you're at a level where we have to pick these details, you know?
Yeah, no, you're right.
You know, the timing wasn't bad. You did dash up, and you actually kind of hesitated with your Blade as well. You actually got a little bit closer before you pressed Blade in the air, which was good. You know, it definitely helped out. And then the mechanics of the Blade were fine. But yeah, I think these are the details that you have to consider. And I'm trying to find details that are not going to be like, hey, this one time you need to kind of consider this, but stuff that like every time you Blade, you need to consider what we just talked about, right? The timing and making sure that you're directly over their head. Every single time that you go in for a combo, you need to consider, is this 180 play? Can I delay my right click so I can line it up a little bit better? These are things that like dozens of times every game, you know? Maybe not dozens of times, unless maybe you're just crazy at farming Blade. You know, I get about 14, 15 Blades per game. You know how it goes. Why did they go Bastion?
I think they're just thinking counter Maga. I don't know. Console Overwatch is very weird. I feel like it's way more.
Well, they're back in Cassidy's. Yeah.
Although I don't have a lot of experience on PC.
I mean, it's certainly going to be a little bit more casual, just based off the nature of the population. It's generally more casual players.
I was so upset at myself for this. I already know it's coming back from Swan. I don't know why I stand here.
Yeah, well, the other thing too is it's like okay, so this is the thing. I get asked this question. I probably have been asked this question probably almost a dozen times. is deflect on Malga good? And the answer is yes, asterisk. Right? We talk about like deflect on tanks, usually bad. You don't want your deflect burn on tanks because you're going to be looking to duel. But if you could deny this, deny his self-sustain, really, really useful. The problem is I have to ask you the question, are you in a position right now to where you might be looking to duel backline? The answer is obviously, yeah, I think so, right? So you got to really think long and hard about whether this is worth it as opposed to just simply ducking behind cover. Because, I mean, look at this Ana, look at the soldier. You talked about like, oh, I should have known the Cassie was coming back from respawn. Even more so, right? You need your deflect.
Yeah, that makes sense. I didn't even think about that.
The way I like to look at it is if that backline is not accessible, deflect on Malga, even when he's not cardiac overdriving, is actually really good. You get in his face, you ego him, then deflect in his face. You deny him a lot of sustain, and it actually makes him very, very vulnerable. But that's only if that you're not in a position to go for backline, which here you very clearly are, not to mention the Cassie is directly behind you. That's the mistake. Yeah. This isn't just the, oh, you forgot about Cassie. That's the obvious, easy answer here. But the other answer is that you just shouldn't have been here without your deflect.
Yeah.
You know? It's like driving in NASCAR without a seatbelt. You know what I'm saying? Like you put yourself in this aggressive of an angle and then waste your deflect on a Malga, you're going to get cooked. I mean, you need your deflect, right? You just saw it. You need your deflect. That was a great deflect. You needed that. It allowed you to hold an angle. This guy's cooking. Nice. I mean, you had your cooldowns on an angle. This is what Genji's good at. You know, we can sit here and laugh about the helix, but, you know, it's a good play. Your Mercy is really your Mercy is really struggling. I'm not gonna lie. Like with all due respect, I don't know what she's smoking. She even starts to damage boost you at 4 HP. Like, okay, this is actually not even your fault. I'm gonna get you a total passing grade A+. This is not your fault.
I felt like it was. Oh,
you should have hit the shots. You should have hit the shots. But like, it's not even like okay. Yeah. Okay, yeah, you should have hit the shots. But you know what? Like, everyone has their off days. You know. Why is your Mercy damage boosting you? I don't know. She should still die. Pistol?
I don't even think I should have dashed her. I should have just kept shooting her.
Yeah. yeah.
I just made my shots harder to hit with my mechanics already not being great. It was like,
all right, you're trolling. You're actually trolling now. This is cheeky. Let's not lie here. Okay, you're kind of going in by yourself here.
Yeah.
But whatever. You're holding an angle. Okay. The major reason why this is cheeky is because, well, actually, you know what? It's not that cheeky because your team is kind of engaged, kind of, sort of. But what should you do right here?
Back off. Dash
out. You've done your job. You forced cooldowns, you forced attention, you forced station. You didn't get the deflect that you wanted, so you can't dash. What do? You dash. What do you wish you had right now? Deflect.
Better aim.
Now, yes, asterisk. But the funny thing is it cuts both ways. Because you look at this, you're like, oh, I wish I had better aim. I mean, yeah, I guess, for sure. This is another one of those situations where if you see the crosshair?
Mm-hmm. If I just waited
if you waited 0.1 seconds. So there's two ways that you can look at this. One, your mechanics need to be better with the habit of waiting on your 180 right click. Two, don't freaking go for this without your deflect. Don't deflect into the engage. Now you're like, well, I needed to deflect. Yeah, you did. So then don't do it.
Yeah.
So then dash out, right? Grab a health pack, rinse and repeat. So if you're gonna go ego mode, you need not even the mechanics, but the mechanical habits to back it up, right? With the pause.
Mm-hmm.
Or you play not even the conservative, but the calculated Genji, the more macro oriented Genji, and don't dash in here without your deflect. 2v1. Right? That's it.
Yeah.
And I actually think that you don't need to necessarily pick which one you wanted to do. Just decide and make it happen. Because I actually think that sometimes you're like, hey, that like for me, if I'm looking at this from like a mathematical standpoint, I probably don't dash in here knowing this guy has mag grenade and looking at his HP. If this Cassidy was 140 HP or 130 HP, I probably would have done what you did. Because I'm confident that I can hit the shots there, right? And outplay the mag grenade. You get what I'm saying? I think this was a bad risk, given the amount of HP that they had.
That's fair. Yeah, it's a pretty.
But I also can think it was close enough as we looked closely at Cassidy's butt cheeks. But I also think that it was reasonable if you had made that small mechanical adjustment. Okay. Take the angle, take the angle. You need to go up top. You need to go up top with your BAP. I would even commit my dash to go up top with my BAP.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. That's actually a good question because I find myself in these situations a lot where I'm scared to cross, but I'm also scared to burn my dash.
Yep,
So, like,
don't be scared to burn your dash. If nobody, first off, nobody in the enemy team can punish you for not having it, right? They have no mobility whatsoever. And also the angle that you're on sucks. This is a sniper angle. Like you can't even see, like you're basically just saying like, oh, I'll go all the way to cart for free because I can't do anything about it. And then all of a sudden the soldier takes the angle and you can't stop him and it just feels awful.
I am
Good.
burning the dash anyways.
Right, exactly. All right, so we're gonna have another talk about micro. What's the micro mistake with this blade? You should know it at your level.
Dash.
You use dash. So first off, you pop the blade too early. You should have been right on the window first, or the door frame, right? Secondly, so like micro here. You know, I'm digging here. Don't pop your blade here. Don't pop your blade here.
So you want me to be like at the door before?
I want you to be like as you're falling, right? You're still like I'm talking about like a matter of
so like
half of a second.
Yeah.
Half of a second. Right now, pop your blade. Right?
Okay, that makes sense.
And so then your sheathing animation finishes right as you go through the door instead of already expiring as you're going through.
Yeah.
But yeah, the major thing here is slash.
Like
You slash, you do not need to slash. Because if she GAs and bounces out this way, like some crack addict, you're screwed, right? It does not increase your time to kill. There's no support for this Mercy here. You don't need the extra 50 damage.
Yep.
The only time you commit your dash here is if you're damage boosted, which I'm actually not even sure if that is at the threshold. I don't even think the slash dash work when they're damage boosted anymore. I think it does. Is it 30%? It's 30%, right? Or no, it's 25%
boost.
Wait.
It should be a 30% boost. I don't know. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, but I'm not sure if that's just because someone took like micro damage.
It's 25. It's 25%. It's 25%.
It is. Oh, what?
Yes, it is. They nerfed it. They nerfed it. So it's exactly It's exactly 200 damage.
Okay, so they need to take 0 healing.
Literally 0 healing for slash dash to work while damage boosted. Obviously, nano boost slash dash is generally going to be okay. But yeah, slash dash slash does not increase your slashing per second. At least, okay. Here's the thing. I've received mixed information on this. Some people say that it gives you an extra slash. Some people do stuff, but it's by such a marginal amount that, regardless of whether it works or not, it most of the time it's not worth it. Just put that.
Yeah, no, this is not worth it. I like the moment I saw it, I already knew. Like in the game, I'm like beating myself up for this. Like I'm verbally beating myself up for that.
Good. Dude, I would prefer physically next time. You know, get some knuckle. You know, knuckles at the jaw. You know.
Yeah.
Nothing. A little beating can't help. Yeah, that's unfortunate because it was a really well set up blade. Besides the tiny little detail that I dug out just because I'm obnoxious, and it was well timed, and the target priority was good. Your positioning was good. You actually used your dash to get to the angle, which was great, and it's like love to see it. This is like okay. I think this fight's pretty much lost. They got close respawn. I'm just gonna ego get the kill. Go for it. You know, I don't give a rip. You look at this, you're like, I'm probably gonna die, but this fight's lost. So let's just clean something up. Yeah, just get the ult charge. And also check out your right click here.
Yeah, I didn't have to do the full 180.
You didn't have to do the full 180. So it was easier to kind of come out faster with it. Now here, I think you really had an opportunity to get out, but yeah, okay, you're dead. That's just spooky. Good. Mercy. It's smart, but she's like, you know, and she's like freaking out, like get out of here, you know. That's hilarious. Oh, that coach gun is so unfortunate.
Yeah. I don't even think I should have gone for that. I think I should have just dashed back to the high ground and like just accepted the attention they were giving me and just
yeah. You should disengage. Yeah. Okay. It's actually kind of good though, because I think your team actually wins a fight off of you. Let me actually watch. Because like, the Bob is bad, but then everybody and their mother looks at you, and then while they fall back, that actually gets the Ashe killed. You see that? So she actually turns around, and then the soldier just freaking dies, and then yeah. So hey, Perfectly calculated. That's exactly what you
I
meant
was,
to do.
I was about to say. I was like, yeah, for sure, definitely.
Exactly like you drew it up. Yep,
Yeah,
exactly like you drew it. Well done, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, weird hold here from your team, but I think this is the place to be if this is where your team's gonna hold. High risk, high reward for sure, right? I think your team might have baited you a little bit here. I think if you guys are gonna hold here, this is probably your best spot, right? But it kind of looked like your team is spawn holding, so I get it.
Well, I'm also thinking too, like the Ashe keeps hanging back in that choke, and so I'm kind of wanting to wait until.
This is good. This is good. As bad as your first engage was on the very, very first fight, remember that? In terms of timing, this is really good. I even like the fact that you're kind of like letting the fight happen. Like you're not even going in immediately because you're like, my team should die. My team should die.
I think I timed this a tad bit early.
A tad bit early, but it's also actually not even that bad. It's a tad bit early, but they are committing at this point, right? You see this? So then let's actually watch what the results of this are. Again, mechanics.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, this is also where console's just so hard. She goes over your head. It's like, it's so hard to like, it's not just a 180 or a 360. It's up and just down. It's three-dimensional movement.
Pulling me around.
Right.
It's weird.
So there's sleep, there's coach, there's deflect. Everybody's freaking out. Nobody's focusing on you. I mean, it's fine. There's dynamite as well. And there's Nano, and Nano feels a little bit forced. I think this is actually still winnable here for you guys. And you've taken no damage, so you actually go back in again. Then Ashe looks at you. I would commit on the Mercy, to be honest. Once you're down one there, I think you kind of need to make a play. This is okay. Oh, that's a crazy sleep. What? Or she saw you. That's why. Bless me, this might still be winnable. Okay, maybe not. Good try. Yeah, whatever. I think you got baited by your team starting. You had to go for a high risk, high reward thing. You didn't have the mechanics to pull it off. That's it. GG's. I don't really think that you should look at that and be like, oh, I trolled. You just missed your shots. And I think obviously, like, if you had the ability to teleport to a different off angle, you would have, right? That's all there is to it. The way you manage your cooldowns, your target priority, even your timing was all like relatively reasonable. Oh dear. You need a blade right now.
Blade?
I think you needed to blade right there. I think you have to blade right now. I don't think you guys have time to stabilize. See, I look at this here, and the enemy, give credit to the enemy team, they're doing what I call snowballing, right? Where you guys are on the back foot here, they have space, then they bob. People are going to die right now. It's inevitable.
I guess so. I think I'm scared right now because I'm on fire and I don't have deflect, and like
I get it. Like, I get it. I think you just need to pray that your mercy follows. I think this fight is starting now. You might have to just try and bite the bullet and pray that you can make a play happen. I understand that this. I 100% agree with you that this is not normally a situation in which you want to play. You're on fire. You don't know the status of mag grenade. You don't have your deflect. But I think this fight's lost if you don't play now. I think this mob will kill people.
I've been spamming like I need healing. Like I've been telling my mercy like I need healing. I was trying. I was really trying.
You kind of see what I'm saying? Where like you never got the opportunity. I mean, this is it, right?
I didn't know that I had someone else on cart, but had I been aware of that, I could have gone for that Ashe there. And maybe...
Yeah, but I really just think it's the fight starting. The fight is being lost. You have to go. You have to make a play happen. You know what I'm saying? You could even look at it as like, okay, the chances of making the blade work are small, but because of the Bob and because of my team dying right now, everybody's going to get greedy. Everyone's going to get sloppy. This Cassidy, see how aggressively he's pushing? He's prime meat for blade here. Because if you go from here and you dash up here and you pop blade here, this is not an easy mag grenade for him, right? He's too close. You see this? And then also he's going to get no help from his Ana. He's going to get no help from his Ashe. He's going to get no help from his Malga. You could win this. You could win this 2v2.
That's true.
So I don't want to dig too deep here. I just want you to be aware of when fights are getting really out of control in a last fight situation, you can't wait for the perfect opportunity because the perfect opportunity is not going to come. And you know, obviously that's kind of where like it's kind of cheating for me because it's like I see these things before you do because I've been coaching this game for a long time. I know that this fight's lost, right? If you don't go now. So I wouldn't worry as much about that detail as some of the other ones. Okay, any questions so far? Obviously, we've talked about a ton of things, but
So, I mean, it sounds like you're agreeing with me that my mechanics seem to be a big problem a lot of the time, and then obviously some random engagements like that I just do that are dumb.
It's well, I want to be very specific about like the type of mechanics, right? Like obviously mechanics are a problem here and there, like broadly, just not hitting your shots, but it's the mechanical habit of rushing your right click on your 180 if that's the direction you're going to go. That needs to be fixed.
Okay.
In addition to that, the micro of setting up your blades, right? Making sure that you're timing things perfectly, right? Even though it's really only the one time, but it's worth pointing out, and making sure that you're over their heads whenever you can. Right. It's the micro of please don't slash dash, please, unless you're going to get the kill, right? And then also the micro of making sure when you don't have your deflect, it may not be smart to take a duel, right? It's a lot of details, but all of these, as we said earlier, are things that are going to happen over and over and over and over and over and over again in a match. So there's a lot of opportunity to practice them. Okay. Okay, next deflect's going to be important. So this is generally not the angle that you take as Genji because for obvious reasons, right? It's pretty far. But it's actually not the end of the world that you take this angle because, and I assume you take this angle because your team is rotated to the angle that you want to take.
Okay. I didn't know that was rhetorical. Continue.
No. Right. No, I'm giving you full credit for making the right decision here. Just take it. This is just, you're off angling from your team, but I don't like this angle as much because it's too far. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This angle, you can utilize the cover here. Go for a dash, right click, deflect, drop. One other option, which you should have taken if you're going to off angle from your team here, is underneath, because this provides so much more cover, and you can do this kind of shenanigans here. You see this without actually having to commit your dash and without actually getting shot in the meantime.
I think I go for that. I'm pretty sure that's what I go for right now.
It's just the wrong way of going about it. When
so like
this is
better.
This is infinitely better. Yeah. It's so much more cover, and then you don't even have to commit your dash. You just go right because you've had to commit your dash to close the distance. It's a good play. It's a Genji cycle, right? So, because the first thing that we talked about, right? But I would have loved if you didn't have to commit your dash, so that you can actually utilize your dash for extra damage if you want to.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah, same angle with better cover.
Yeah. Just an angle that gets you closer. That's what you're looking for. You are a shotgun hero. That is what Genji is. Genji is a shotgun hero with really fast legs. So, I was coaching some diamond Genji the other day, and we were talking about how like he took like this really really deep flank and did jack all because it was like 30-meter range, and he's like, no, he can't. He's like tickling people with the left click across the map, and it's like, they've got like Soldier and Cassidy is like getting his deflect force. It just feels terrible. And it's like, you are a shotgun here. You have to take angles that make sense to your character.
Yeah.
Like this makes sense to your character because you are able to either shoot the Malga up close or, this is freaking sucks for their backline, right? Now this is obnoxious, in which case maybe we'll take this angle here. But then that exposes you to the distance of this. So it's like it's just finding an angle that at least gets you close to somebody. And it's exactly what you're doing right now. Now, are you early? Yes. Is it still worth it? Probably. Probably. I'm never gonna hate it. I mean, it's not like nothing's happening, right? Now I might cash out here because I know that people are gonna be looking at me. Case in point. So let's actually talk about the mistake here. You missed your shot.
Yeah.
You missed your shot again. You have to know that people are looking at you. And crucially, that people are looking at you. You ready for this one? Behind. You see this?
Yeah.
And this is the real threat. Why?
Because he can hit his shots way easier than anybody else because it's just easy shots because I'm like right there in his.
Can you deflect his shots?
Well, yeah, but not easily.
Not even, really. No, not really. Because who are you going to deflect? You're going to deflect the Ana? Or are you going to deflect the Soldier? Or are you going to deflect the guy that directly behind you? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, unless, I guess, yeah.
I mean, unless you're like freaking Neo with the Matrix, like, you know,
I have to like back myself up into a horrible position.
Right, exactly. And then also, but because you don't even see him, you don't even know what he's doing, and that's the other problem as well. So I guess here it's not, the angle is not bad, the timing is not bad, the mechanics are bad, but the big thing here is like, okay, all right, I'm not gonna get this kill, so you know what? I'm just gonna dash out, enjoy the space that I created, reset and go again. Don't overstay your welcome. Does that make sense?
And I mess up my.
You gotta have like an internal timer of like, yeah, I'm gonna get shot. You know, it's actually a pretty good play in terms of like the strategy and how you use your CDs. But
I was literally like, what do I do?
I think you could have No, you're dead. You're dead. Oh, freaking mercy, man. That's actually such a smart play from him, though. Because you didn't have your deflect in time. That's brilliant.
Yeah, I think I get put in. I think another thing happens again, similar to that, where I just forget that I don't have my cooldowns after being rezzed, and I go in and die. I think it happens like soon.
Okay. I'm excited. This position's good. Nice little short angle. Oh my gosh! Did he just? What happened?
It just I've had that happen a lot to me, like on all the characters. Like I just get launched in by the cage match. Like it just yoinks me in like a grab. So
wow,
just,
like you were. I think it's because you were just on the border, I guess. So yeah, I guess the only micro thing to hear is that like I guess just give him 0.5 meters more space. You know, because you almost placed it perfectly. Like I think actually because you didn't place it perfectly, you actually get pulled in for it, right? Where if you had been a little bit closer, you would have been fine. Because you would have gotten sucked, but yeah. I mean, this is unfortunate.
I think it's fine. I just let my Moggle win this.
Oh, that is a fat deflect. Holy mother. That is insane. That brings back days of when I was like gold on Genji, you know? And you just stand in front of like Overwatch 1, you just stand in front of 6 people. You're just like, please, just the Nepal Village high ground rollout that everybody does, you know? And then everybody just vomits cooldowns at you and you just kill like 12 people.
Mm-hmm.
I had one of those moments. It was like I got 70% ult charge in 6 seconds. I got it. I wish I had it recorded, but I was like golden. It was great. Now, this is cheeky. Now, remember, this is the exact same thing as the Ana here, right? You got to know that you're on a timer here.
Yeah.
You did your job. You forced your Su to get out. It's not done. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, to be honest with you, I'm going to be honest with you. This is just total brain dead behavior from the enemy team. That you should not have even gotten the kill that you did. You should have just freaking died. Like, the Zenyatta just dumps his entire right click into your face, which is super stupid. So, like, that feels, like, amazing, right? But it's not all that smart.
No, yeah.
It's not all that smart. Mostly just because there's nobody here with you, right? There's just nobody here with you. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, no blade because
of trans.
Well, not just trans.
I'm thinking he has trans, I think.
Well, not even just because of trans, but also just because you're down a couple, so it's like whatever. No comment.
I tried. I'm pretty sure I said I need healing with like the button.
Good. I mean, that's good. All I think I'd say there is, like I said, again, make that right click count, right? And one other detail as well, which we haven't brought up as much because you've done a pretty good job of it, but it needs to be brought up. When you dash this crosshair is way too high. This crosshair needs to be just a tad lower so that you hit here, then right click. Now, I think he rolls. No, he doesn't roll. But this is way too much distance, right? Yeah. You needed to be here, not here. That's the difference between hitting 3 shurikens or 2, or 2 shurikens instead of 1, right? So yeah, deflect is good. Movement towards cover is good. It's good. That's not so good. But yeah, little like stupid plays like that and the helix. I'm just gonna I'm not gonna analyze, to be honest with you. It happens. Nice. Chill. Surely they don't check here. Surely. This is terrifying.
I think I get scared. The soldier's about to go up there, and I
Zen
make
sees
eye
you.
contact with him, and he does not see me. He just walks right past me.
Wait, what? Oh, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
This is a mess. You guys are getting off-angled from 6 different directions.
With 5 players.
Yeah. I mean, I get it, you know. This is one of those where you actually can't really slash dash, or can't really slash, excuse me, because I think you just get killed, to be honest with you. It's not even the kick, because you'd be able to pursue him with dash, right?
Yeah.
The problem is that you had your deflect on a 0.6 second cooldown, so you would have died if you had not slash dash. I mean, that is one advantage of the slash dash, right? Is that you can actually move. So I mean, it's all right. I mean, the cancel and the deflect is good there. I think you just cancel the deflect. You must have. You must have.
Yeah, I must have. I don't know why. Maybe I like clenched my controller really hard and just like canceled it or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, that is a frame perfect cancel. Wait a second.
Yeah.
Hang on a second. That must have literally been frame perfect.
Like
it has to be a replay viewer bug or something like that, because that is unusual. Let's put it that way.
Oh no, it's probably not a ping thing. I've had it happen where like it gives me the animation and it shows that it's deflecting, gives me the sound, everything, and I take the damage anyways. And
Yeah. Anyway, Blade was fine. The deflecting was obnoxious, but beyond that, good angle. Right side's kind of awkward. I mean, it can work sometimes if you have like a lot of attention on left, but it's not good. Yeah. Careful. You have your Sojourn help, so it works, but just be careful.
Yeah. Oh, I actually forgot to mention in this game, I am actually good with our Sojourn.
Okay, makes sense. Well, that gives you confidence to push without your deflect in. Get him.
Yeah, well, I knew he was going to ult there, so I just deflected in front of him so he didn't take the visor damage.
Yeah. Okay, let's take some notes. Genji, what do you need to practice with Genji? We talked about a lot of things, but what are your priorities?
I would say, or are you asking rhetorically, or are you asking?
No, just straight up, yeah, asking.
My priorities, I mean, I'm definitely going to change well, first of all, I'm going to practice the turning and like making sure my crosshair's on the person before I shoot.
180.
And then I'm also going to lower the aim assist window so that I can make the 180s a bit faster, because I don't think it's necessary to have it like so big. I can shrink it a bit and then I can be a little faster, and then also practice it. I'm going to just, I guess, keep in mind and be more like anal, I guess, about like my positioning with the blade, like being right on top of them as opposed to like a little bit in front of them. Like when I dashed up that one moment, like that. And then I would say the going in after I missed the deflect that I wanted, like I guess just like cycling better. And I guess just like going, like not going for those like stupid engagements after I burn deflect, and then I'm greedy for the kill.
Right. Watch your slash dash.
Yeah.
It's just something to keep an eye on. You have to be. I mean, Blade is the 3rd hardest ultimate in the game, right? So you have to put a lot of effort into like thinking about it and not just turning your brain off and just going like, you know, it's just it's not the way to go.
What would you say is the 2 hardest?
Primal and Pulse are harder.
That makes so much sense. I didn't even think that Blade was like that hard. I felt like it was I guess I would consider other things harder, but yeah, I think I agree with that. Probably more
There's a
hard.
big ceiling with Blade, and a lot of there's also like managing your deflect and dash, and then even like for example like killing mercies out of the sky, like that's ridiculously hard. Like that requires very precise crosshair placement. But Pulse is the hardest, Primal's the second, and Blade's the third. I don't even know what would be the fourth. Honestly, I've never really thought about it. But yeah, okay. Any questions?
I guess I'm curious, like, if I didn't tell you what rank I was and you just watched that game, what like
Grandmaster.
you would say that I look Grandmaster?
Look Grandmaster to me. Certainly for console. Yeah. I mean, you
Oh
have
my
the
god.
you have the limitations of what console can and can't do, but your attention to timing, your positioning for the most part, your seed usage for the most part, yeah, it's Grandmaster.
I literally felt like I don't know, like I just feel like if it really is Grandmaster, I just feel like the standard for being Grandmaster is so low.
No, you've just shifted the metric in your brain because you've been here for so long, and all you focus on are the negatives. You're still better than 99 point whatever percent of players.
Oh my goodness.
It's what happens. I hear Overwatch League players. People who are the most negative about player skill. It's Overwatch League players. Everybody's dog, according to them, because all they see are mistakes. I'm dog, and I used to work with. I don't know if you know Backbone from the London Spitfire, and he would be like, "Oh yeah, I'm not even that good. All these players have just gotten a lot worse." And I was just like, I just shake my head and like, you have no idea how good you are. You have no idea how good these players are. You're a terrible judge of a metric. It's literally like it's like you freaking screw up your ability to perceive player skill. Because all you see is a negative.
Yeah, I literally feel the same way. Like I look at my mistakes, I look at the mistakes of my team and the enemy team, and I'm like, I feel like we're all just like playing in bronze, and we should just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
what it feels
Yeah.
like to me.
Yeah. No, it was good. It was good. I mean, there was a lot of good things to say about your Genji. I mean, think about obviously your timing at points wasn't great. And a couple of times I was like not super happy with the angle that you took, but it was almost never brought up. Very, very rarely. And that goes a long way to discussing your strength of fundamentals, right? And again, this is coming from console players. So when mechanics looks shabby and messy, it's not a surprise. I've coached dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of console players. I know how it looks. So it's not a problem.
I guess let me see. I think what would you say like how do you I guess like how do you deal with like in that match there weren't any Zimmers. And then also like okay, actually this is a better way to frame the question. My question is um I guess I'm like pretty like well known amongst the top 500s and on console,
Yep.
and they all know me as this and I quote well, I guess I won't quote it because it's pretty awful, but they just all see me as a terrible, horrible Genji Ryan one trick, and
Yeah.
a lot of people that recognize my name, which almost everybody in the play, like I'm playing with the same people like over and over and over
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
That like a lot of people, it's not all the time, but a lot of times people will just straight up throw my matches off the bat because of who I am.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
how do like, and I'm not saying
All to
I don't know,
count. All to count.
I have to just climb on another account.
I mean, I wouldn't say you just have to, but if it's a social thing to do it, you either just ignore it and just don't feed it, and just it'll eventually will die off, as you improve. It might also be that you when you tilt Q, that has something to do with your reputation as well.
That's fair. I should stop tilt queuing.
Maybe that has a part to do. Either you deal with your aspect of that perception, you ignore it, the aspect that you can't control, or you take some action to avoid it.
That's fair. Yeah, I guess that is all I can really do.
Yeah, that's all there really is to it. So that's your choice. So you can choose your poison there. It's not optimal. It sucks, but that's all you really got.
All right. I don't think I have any other questions.
All right, mate. Well,